Welcome to the DNA show.
DNA? Dude, are we doing a science show?
No, D is for Dennis.
Oh, A is for Andy.
And N is for and?
Oh, man, nerds. Because we're
yeah.
nerds, dude.
Yeah. Well, good. Then we can talk about comics and movies and pop culture and sports.
Sports and nerds. Yeah, we're going to make that work.
All right, let's roll.
Heidi-ho, welcome back to the Dennis and Andy Show. Once again, you gotta know my voice by now. I'm Andy.
And this is Dennis, back for another week.
That's right. And starting off, you know, Dennis, when I go to a movie, I'm not a popcorn guy. I'm a candy guy.
Yes, you are.
Big time candy. I've just got the biggest sweet tooth. I've said it a million times. When my wife gets on my case about stuff, I go, you know what? You should be lucky that I don't have vices like drinking or, you know, I don't know, like
Gambling.
Yes. You know, I don't have an eye for other women and stuff. My big vice is I have a sweet tooth. You know, so I'm not going out getting drunk at night. In fact, if you put a beer in front of me or candy, I'm throwing that beer to the side. I'm going dessert or candy any day of the week.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm kind of there, unless it's a Guinness. I like the dark beer. I would like a good one. However, I don't know if it's between Guinness and Reese's Pieces. That would be kind of a toss-up. I might have to go with the Reese's Pieces.
Reese's, so that's your favorite candy?
It is.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Thank you, E.T., by the way.
I've got a movie I've never seen, and I never intend to. I can't now. I'm at the point of no return. There's just
no such thing. No such thing. It's a classic.
I can't do it. So I've got two categories of candy. I've got chocolate. So my favorite chocolate is definitely Reese's Pieces because I love chocolate peanut butter.
Yep.
So Reese's Pieces, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. They've got like Nutrageous now. They've got so many different types. But then I also like the more like fruit flavored stuff. So my toss up on that side is actually it's not a toss up. It's Sweetest Fish number 1.
Oh.
And then number 2, Mike and Ike.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, like the Mike and Ike.
So Swedish Fish and Reese's Pieces have to battle it out because I put it this way: nobody's ever laid them both down in front of me at the same time and said you only can take one. So I've never been confronted with that.
Well, mine is definitely Reese's Pieces, and peanut M&Ms are slightly behind it. On the candy side, I don't have quite that sweet a tooth. However, like on the trip, we came across the Huckleberry up in Montana, and
how is that?
Huckleberry licorice is the absolute like bomb. Oh yeah, really? I love it. Yes,
I'm not a licorice guy.
Oh yeah, is it a texture thing?
Yeah, it is.
If you can't do any licorice, yeah, I love it. So cherry licorice is fine, and there's other flavors, but we got introduced to the Huckleberry on the trip the last time we went out. So when I just got back a couple weeks ago, I made sure I picked up multiple packages of the Huckleberry. I brought it home. My wife ate an entire package before I even knew she got into it. It's that good.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
But I would still take the Reese's Pieces anyway.
Well, so we're talking about this because I found this column A, column B list online, and basically you have to pick either column A or column B, and it's not just the candy that's on top because it's basically a stack of movies.
It's a candy and movie week.
It's a candy and movie week, and basically, so you've got column A, column B. Column A, the candy is Reese's Pieces. Column B, the candy is another one of my favorites, peanut M&Ms, and I like those because when I eat those, I can at least tell myself I'm being healthy because surrounded in chocolate is peanuts, and peanuts are healthy.
Yeah, and you grind up peanuts for peanut butter, which is what's in Reese's Pieces. So for me, it's a horse apiece.
That's right. But the funny thing is, I wish I could take some of the movies from column A and shift them and vice versa.
So what it is, there's 2 columns of 15 movies. And, you know, you've got your Reese's Pieces with... The movies are Liar Liar, Hook, Gremlins,
Batman. First Batman
original.
With Michael Keaton, and Jack Nicholson.
Mighty Ducks, A League of Their Own, Jurassic Park, Die Hard, Fright Night, Ghostbusters, Monster Squad, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Yeah, Iron Man, Shawshank Redemption, and Breakfast Club.
Now, before we go to column B, how many of those movies under the Reese's column have you seen?
All of them.
Have you really?
Yes.
I have not seen Monster Squad, so I don't even know what that is. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've sat through the entire Mighty Ducks.
Oh, okay.
I liked it. It was just, it's not obviously when it came out, it was in my, it was definitely in the wheelhouse when I was a kid and stuff, but I just never sat through the whole thing. It was one of those things I never saw in the theaters. When it's on TV, I'd watch some of it.
And for me, it was Fright Night. I've seen it, but if I'd put it up right now and missed the intro, I wouldn't even probably remember it till halfway through the movie, probably. It's been that long.
Yeah. So what's Monster Squad?
Monster Squad is, I don't remember. It's another one wasn't what it wasn't one of my favorites. Let's put it that way.
It had to be 80s because most of these look like it. Well, they're not though because Iron Man's 2008. But
so you can read off column B.
Yeah, I'll read off. So that's column A. So if you're a Reese's Pieces guy, they're saying, what Dennis just read out, which I will say, love Liar Liar, Hook is great. Gremlins, I can just throw in the garbage.
Love Gremlins.
Batman, my all-time. Love Michael Keaton. Love that first Batman movie still, even though I do like Batfleck. Ben Affleck is Batman. I still love that one. Iron Man, Shawshank. I mean, come on. Shawshank.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
What's the deal with that?
That's Dream Warriors, baby. That's when Donkey came out. Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it
original Ghostbusters, original Iron Man. I mean, that is a good, solid list. Oh, yeah.
Die Hard.
I mean, best Christmas movie ever.
I was about to ask, do you consider it a Christmas movie? It's not. I almost wish we were recording this at Christmas time. We'll probably still talk about, I'm sure around Christmas, we'll do our favorite Christmas movies. I'm still on the fence on calling that a Christmas movie.
We watch it every Christmas. We always watch A Christmas Story.
Okay.
And then it's Die Hard's always on, so we always wind up watching Die Hard. So I do consider it for us a Christmas movie because we watch it at Christmas. So you
get your warm and fuzzies with A Christmas Story, and then you get your balls to the wall action.
That's right.
With Die Hard. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so under the
M&Ms,
peanut M&Ms, you've got The Mask with Jim Carrey, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Goodfellas, Back to the Future, Karate Kid, the movie, not the YouTube show, Ghost, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Lost Boys, Mrs. Doubtfire, Tombstone, The Goonies, Friday the 13th Part 3, Captain America, First Avenger, The First Halloween, and Stand By Me.
Yep.
God. Like I said, I'm so torn. Okay, so out of this list, I've never seen, which one was it? The Goonies. And I have no interest in The Goonies either.
Seriously, The Goonies and E.T.?
They can both just hit the garbage.
We're duct taping you one day and watch. Especially, and that's got to go with Gremlins.
No. No. I love The Mask. I thought The Mask was fantastic. I mean, who doesn't love Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, classic. Goodfellas is a great movie.
Goodfellas is great, but I guess the comparable one on the Reese's Pieces list is Shawshank, and I would take Shawshank over Goodfellas.
So what they did was they tried to compare movies to movies, and they put them in order. So Liar Liar, which is Jim Carrey, is competing with The Mask.
Yeah, I get that. Well,
and they do it all the way down. So the choice is Liar Liar or Mask. I would choose The Mask.
Would you really?
Yes.
Oh, see, I'd probably go Liar Liar.
Sorry, Cameron Diaz has me on that one. Know, she's my tiebreaker.
From a comedic standpoint, Liar Liar just killed me. I don't know. Do you think that's what they did? Because why would they put Halloween next to Shawshank instead of...
Well, okay, so...
Well, they do have Friday the 13th Part 3 next to Nightmare Part 3.
Right, and Iron Man original versus Captain America original.
Which, even though I'm a huge, huge Captain America guy, I mean, all-time Marvel, from a movie standpoint, I think I'd go Iron Man.
Yeah, I would.
I take Iron Man.
I like them both,
it's the first one, and just when you hear the Iron Man song in the movie.
So I kind of look at them as so I've seen all the movies on the right, and, if you kind of compare them. So I would actually take Ferris Bueller on B and compare it with The Breakfast Club, because they're both John Hughes.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
And I would take Ferris Bueller over Breakfast Club.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too, even though, again, I love both movies, although, I would too.
Back to the Future Batman, no choice for me. Batman all the way.
Yeah, same here. I mean, again, I love both movies, but that Batman, Michael Keaton, is still one of my favorites.
But Karate Kid, Mighty Ducks, come on, Karate Kid.
All the way.
All the way. Ghost, League of Their Own.
Okay, so for me, that's almost a toss-up.
See, it's not for me. I go Ghost.
And it was a great movie, and I loved it. But A League of Their Own. So I lived in Rockford for a while.
There's no crying in baseball.
I know, with a great cast.
It's a great cast.
And I lived in Rockford, which is not only home of the Sock Monkeys,
right,
but the Rockford Peaches, which is what this is all about.
Oh,
and
really?
The last Rockford Peach just passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
About a month ago, I think. Maybe 2 months ago.
You have a stronger tie to it. I can go Ghost all the way.
So I would probably do League of Their Own.
Now, what would you do? Jurassic Park or Raiders? That is tough. See, that's the toss-up, man.
Yep.
That really is. That's almost the flip of the coin, because I can watch both of those, no problem, and I can't.
Any day. I
have to go Jurassic Park, because I can still remember being in the theater and having that same sense of awe at seeing the dinosaurs that the actors had.
Yeah. Yeah, and my biggest thing was I can still remember that big boulder coming down on the big screen, just shaking everything up. The villain's face melting off. I'm probably going to lean slightly towards Raiders on that one.
See, I can't, and you just solidified it for me, because the effect of the dude's melting face was so awful. Even back then, I thought,
oh my God,
I just was like, that is so cheesy. Even my little teenage brain was like, that sucks.
Yep.
So I got to go Jurassic Park, because I believe those dinosaurs. I take Die Hard over Lost Boys any day of the week.
Again, now I'm a big Lost Boys fan.
Oh, come on, that can't be a toss-up. I like Lost Boys too.
If it was against most of the other movies, I would have picked Lost Boys. But Die Hard, just seriously classic all the way around. Watch it every Christmas. I have to go Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Yes,
damn right.
That's right.
Mrs. Doubtfire for me, hands down over Fright Night.
Yep, definitely. Ghostbusters and Tombstone.
Why did they pair those two?
I don't know. So I would actually...
I'd put Tombstone against Shawshank before I put Ghostbusters next to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, Ghostbusters is just another hands-down classic for me every time.
Same here. They're just two totally different movies. So it's because Tombstone's such a great movie as well. Val Kilmer stole the show in that movie. I know, and it was a really good action. I mean, it really was good. And Tombstone, if I remember right, didn't that and the one with Kevin Costner come out around the same time? Where Kevin Costner played... Yeah, it probably was in that ballpark. I'm pretty sure it was around the same time frame, and Tombstone just blew Kevin Costner's out of the water. Yeah. The whole cast. Goonies and Monster Squad, never seen either one, so you can literally just swap those right out of that list. Yeah, and I'm a Goonies fan all the way. The only thing with Goonies, if I remember right, wasn't Thanos Cable in it? What's his face? Brolin? Brolin. Yeah. Yeah, he was in Goonies. Yeah, but that story, because it was Chunk, the bigger, and, with the ears and everything like that, the story, the kids going on a treasure hunt, it is a great classic movie for all ages. I would do that in a heartbeat. Did you make your kids watch it? Oh, yeah. Ugh. Did they fall in love with it, too? Everybody likes it. You have to watch it. Yeah. Yep. Friday 13th Part 3 or Nightmare 3? I gotta go Nightmare 3. I once again, I don't understand why they picked Friday the 13th Part 3. Is there something special about that third one?
Well, no, I think they're just doing Part 3s and Part 3s because they came out roughly the same time. Now, again, we could talk about the series in general. So, I loved both. I mean, I really am. I love that genre. But
you talking about you love both series?
Yeah, I did. Both Nightmare on Elm Street and
Nightmare a little more than Friday the 13th.
But I was going to say, I would give the edge to Nightmare on Elm Street because, Robert Englund just was the greatest. Freddy Krueger was the bomb.
Well, and it's just a little more original, I think, because didn't Friday the 13th, the first one, and Halloween come out around the same time in the 70s?
Right.
And you're kind of like, oh, look, two masked killers.
But Halloween was an overall way superior movie to any of them.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't as original but Halloween came out first. So I think Halloween was, 79-ish? So, late 70s, I think like 79.
Wait, no, wait. Wasn't it? No, wasn't it 78? Because when they did the Jamie Lee Curtis one, that came out in 18, wasn't it? 2018 is the anniversary type one.
Yeah.
Because they dumped because they basically said the Jamie Lee Curtis one that came out in 2018 was the actual sequel. Nothing else happened in between.
We'd have to look at, but that's why I was going to say 78 or 79.
Well, who knows now, but this October, the follow-up to that one comes out with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I know.
Did you see the trailer?
Yes. I don't.
But
not if there's a new one, no.
Okay, so we're going to tangent here real fast. Dude, the one I saw explains how... So, in 2018, when they put out what they're saying is the real sequel to Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis...
Right.
Hey, if you haven't seen it, too bad. Here's a spoiler. It ends with them trapping Michael in the basement of the house, and the house is on fire. And Jamie Lee Curtis, her daughter, and whoever else escaped the house. And they're basically like, finally, the nightmare's going to end. The house is burning down on top of Michael.
And there's no way you could escape. Yes, because Judy Greer was the mother.
No. In the trailer that you didn't see, the truck is pulling away with the pickup truck with Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, who I just love as an actress.
Me too.
And I believe her daughter are in the bed of the truck as it's pulling away. I can't remember who's driving the truck. And what's coming in the opposite direction towards the house? A fire truck. With lights blaring, and Jamie Lee Curtis and Judy Greer are like, no! Stop! And the fire truck just zooms right past them.
So the new Halloween 2 is they need to just swerve in front and crash into the fire truck.
That's right. They need to kamikaze that themselves to save it.
Oh, no.
So they give it up in the trailer of how Michael survives.
And it is 1978 that Halloween came out.
So this was 2018.
So because that brings us to Shawshank Redemption or Halloween. And again, for me, a bit of an odd comparison, but
I got to go Shawshank.
And I'm going Halloween.
Oh, see, Halloween's a great genre movie, but Shawshank's just a great movie.
I actually think it's just a great movie all the way through. I like both of them. Now, again, don't get me wrong. Right. If you were to say, hey, we're going to watch Halloween, I'd be like, yep, I'm there with you. Oh, we're going to watch Shawshank. Yep, I've seen them both like a dozen times. I love them.
Yeah.
Love them. Iron Man versus Captain America.
Like I said, I mean, it's I'm a huge Captain America fan. I've gotten to draw Captain America in my professional career. I love Captain America. First comic book I ever bought, Captain America. But from the movie standpoint, I gotta go Iron Man because it kicked off the whole MCU. Robert Downey Jr. hit a home run so far out of the park into the stratosphere. Just his portrayal. Right. And I love Chris Evans as Captain America, but I got to go Iron Man.
And I would too, only again because of what it kicked off, and realize like in Iron Man, I'm an Iron Man fan, and like the Silver Centurion armor, my favorite armor of all time, and was really hoping it was going to make the movie. It didn't. So, it brought it down a notch. Well, but I still liked it.
The Silver Centurion armor, that's the one that's red and silver, right?
Yeah, one with the big shoulder pads.
You could say it made it in.
220.
Right. You could say it made it into Iron Man 2 because his briefcase armor wasn't that red and silver.
Yeah, but we gotta see it on and in use in order for me to kind of
use it. In the beginning of the movie during the auto race, when they said, "Throw me my briefcase."
Yeah, see, I didn't consider that the Silver Centurion.
Well, that's the best you got.
Right, exactly.
So
now, here's what I was going to say in the Iron Man, because it's the two originals.
By the way,
Iron Man was a better movie.
It was. But just to get back to the armor stuff, you're insane saying that's the best armor. The best armor is what I call from one of the best runs, which is the Bob Layton, John Romita Jr. stuff with the yellow and gold armor that, it was the longest running armor still to this day, I believe, from the 70s into the 80s before, there was another couple iterations before the one you like. But no, the best armor is that yellow and gold one I'm talking about. So you're just wrong.
No, I understand what you're saying. I didn't say it was the best armor, but it's my personal favorite. Always has been. Yeah, always has been. I was just sad it was short. So in the last movie is Breakfast Club versus Stand By Me. Exactly. I'm actually going to do Stand By Me.
Damn it, I'm leaning Breakfast Club.
Yeah, again, liked them both, but I just remember seeing Stand By Me hit me more emotionally than what The Breakfast Club did.
Yeah, I see that. Stand By Me with chubby Jerry O'Connell.
Yep. Yep. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Molly Ringwald fan and and everything.
All right, well, I didn't keep track. I'm going to go through and count up under the Reese's list how many to see what list outweighs the other list to officially see
in my opinion, I should. In your opinion.
In my opinion. So I've got, bear with us as we count. 1, 2, oh no. 9. I got 9 under Reese's Pieces. So I'm good.
I'm 7 under Reese's Pieces, and I'm 8 under the M&Ms.
I'm 9 under Reese's Pieces.
And what we'll do is we'll post this on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll pop the photo up so you guys can tell us
what you guys like and maybe what your totals are and see how many you guys have. But yeah, mine was, I knew it was going to be close because realistically, I like every movie in both of them. Although Monster Squad is probably my least favorite because it's not very memorable for me. But other than the rest of them, they're all pretty much classics to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, that's cool. That was fun. Let us know what yours are and your favorite candy. Also in the back of this photo, they've got other candy in the background. They got Whoppers, Raisinets, Good and Plenty, Goobers. The only one, I like them all, and the only one I would kick off that list if I had to is probably Good and Plenty.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it either. I would kick off the Goobers before I kick off. To me, the Good and Plenty are like Ike and Mike's.
No. Not at all. They're not fruity.
Yeah, they're flavored.
They're not fruity. Mike and Ike's Good and Plenty have 2 flavors, the white and the pink or purple. That's it. Mike and Ike is literally just like a rainbow of flavor in your mouth. You're insane.
All right. So next up, we went and watched a couple of... Dave Bautista, to me, has just come so far. I love watching most of his movies now. We were, before all this pandemic stuff hit, we would go see all the movies. And we were very excited when Stuber was coming out. And then they were advertising My Spy. Well, we finally got a chance to watch both movies. And
here's what happened, too, backstory-wise. Originally, Stuber and My Spy were supposed to come out last August, roughly about 2 to 3 weeks apart. And then they pushed My Spy because they were like, well, we don't want 2 Dave Bautista movies, 2 different movie studios as well. So My Spy got pushed to, I believe, January, and Stuber kept its original date of sometime last fall, August or so. So we did. We went and watched Stuber, and Stuber is Bautista, known for Guardians of the Galaxy and many other movies, and another soon-to-be in a Marvel movie Kumail Nanjiani, who's going to be in the Eternals. And Kumail plays Stu, and he's an Uber driver. So we'll get more into the plot in a second. The other movie, My Spy, was supposed to come out in January. Then it got pushed. And then it just, because of COVID and the theater shutting down, I was going through Amazon Prime one day, and lo and behold, there it was on Amazon Prime. So I texted Dennis and said, dude, guess what? My Spy's on Amazon Prime. I watched it. You got to watch it and tell me what you think compared to Stuber.
And we did.
And we did.
And I was going to say, now...
So it's a Dave Bautista battle.
Right. They're both Dave Bautista. In there, and he plays FBI and I think CIA.
He plays just cop.
He was you're right. He was a regular policeman.
He's a detective
in Stuber.
Yeah, in Stuber, he's a detective, not just a regular
detective who has his eyes dilated.
Right. No, he got LASIK. So the one thing that kills me about Stuber is, so he's a cop. He gets his eyes. He gets LASIK done, and the only thing, and we might have talked about this before, because I'm pretty sure we talked about Stuber in an earlier podcast, but it's a complaint because I had LASIK. Once you get LASIK done, you walk out of the eye doctor and your vision is perfect. And the next morning, it's better. So there's no blurriness. There's no, put these goggles on because bright light's going to bother you. There's none of that garbage. Yeah. That's with what Dennis said. When your eyes are dilated, it's blurry, it's bright lights bother you, all that stuff. So the writers kind of confused the two.
Yep.
So anyhow, and then, he has to hunt down a bad guy, and he calls an Uber because he can't drive, and he basically kidnaps the dude for the day. Whereas My Spy...
But he just leased the Uber driver. He had just leased a brand new Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, so
which is an electric car.
Yeah, electric car as well. So he's very careful about it, and he's so determined about keeping his 5-star rating up. And then My Spy, he's is he FBI or CIA?
CIA. He's a CIA operative.
Yeah, he's a CIA operative in My Spy, and he's basically on a stakeout. And his partner is a very funny actress, comedic actress. You talking about his partner? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Kristen Shaw.
Oh, she is great. She is... She does a ton of voiceover work, but I first noticed her doing live action stuff on The Last Man on Earth, which... funny show, and still bummed that it got canceled. But she's hysterical. She's such a great comedic actress, great timing. So you've got this big, burly, tough guy, CIA agent, teamed up with this analyst on a stakeout, and she keeps calling him partner, and he's like, we're not partners. And they're staking out this mom who, single mom, single parent, raising this 10-year-old kid, and the kid basically catches him being spied on.
Yep.
And blackmails him.
The kid is played by Chloe Coleman, and I'm going to be honest, she stole the show for me. The entire movie. She was the superstar.
When I think back to being that age and being such a dumbass and not knowing anything, and then I see this kid do this acting job, and I'm like, where did I go wrong? Like, holy crap. I look at it, I'm like, that's just another level. Like, when I was 10 years old, even though I went and saw movies that had kids my age in it, I don't know, it just didn't ring to me that kid was my age in a movie. But now as an adult who has a kid, I see this 10-year-old and I'm like, what the hell? I could never do that.
Yeah.
I mean, she is definitely going to be somebody to watch and track her career unless for some reason she decides, I don't want to do it, and just gets out.
She played a great straight man, and she can just deadpan any of the jokes. So it was a really good team up with Bautista, who, he plays the same type of a character.
Yeah. He was the tough guy. literally the big difference was he was a detective in one and CIA in another.
Yes.
Other than that, big tough guy, knows all the weapons, knows how to fight.
Yep, the typical Bautista, but he plays the same type of character, but he plays them so well, and they're different stories, and they team him up with different people to make it where, even with him playing the same one, it works every time. I love both movies.
Yeah, I mean, I loved them too. They were really good movies, and when we're done, we'll grade them because they do get different grades. But to me, as the whole formation all-around movie for a comedy, Stuber hit it out of the park, I think, compared to My Spy. Because there were times watching My Spy that I wasn't bored, but I didn't laugh. I mean, that's what it came down to. I just didn't laugh as much. Like Stuber...
Right. It was entertaining, but it wasn't like laugh out loud. So the CIA director is Ken Jeong, which...
He is awesome.
He's always awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And again, he's a stereotype player. So he plays usually similar type of characters, and he acts like it, but he is a great CIA boss for him. And it's well done. It's enjoyable. It's a good storyline. It's funny.
And it's also has more of a romantic element in it as well with Dave Bautista and the kid's mom.
Yes.
You can kind of see, even from the beginning, when they first meet, there's this flourishing romance, and the kid even wants to try and pair him up.
Yeah.
So, that there wasn't any of that in Stuber.
No, but Stuber was more action-packed, and it was just straight out really, really funny. I thought the chemistry between Bautista and Kamel was just awesome. I mean, it was. Dave Bautista, they paired him up with a comedic person that could not only deadpan, but he loved the car more than he loved almost anything else. It was just a good fitting once again for two characters. Stuber was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it totally was. Well, so I was going to mention, one thing I look for in movies, and this actually comes from stand-up comics, look for this, is what they like to call in the business, LPMs. What's an LPM? Laugh per minute. And stand-up comics live and die by laugh per minute. And when comics go out, and I know this because I've done some stand-up before, and a couple of my friends are professional stand-up comics, when they go out and work on new material, they record it, and then when they go back and listen to it, they will keep track of how many laughs per minute they have. And they'll go through their jokes and try to rewrite them and punch them up, because you want to get as many laugh per minutes as you can. And that's kind of, I thought of that when we were talking about comparing these two, whereas in Stuber, it just seemed like I was just laughing like all the time, Whereas in My Spy, there were definitely moments where it was like, okay, yeah, I get it. They're on a date now. Let's get to something funny.
Yep.
And I mean, they were both story driven. They both had fun stories behind them, end goals that the characters had to achieve. But, if you had to pick one or the other, I'd go Stuber. But hey, if you can watch both, watch them both.
Yep, I would agree. I enjoyed both of them very well. But Stuber, I mean, I laughed all the way through it. I mean, I thought it was just really well done. And again, they both paired up Dave Bautista with the right type of person.
Totally.
Yep. So let's kind of give it the comic book grade. Let's start with, I think, the lower one. I would say My Spy. I would give that one about a 7.5.
7.5 My Spy. I'd go that. I'd go between 7 and 7.5. Yeah. And then since you pulled that one out of the gate, I'm going to say for Stuber, I'd probably roll that baby up at an 8.7. I really like Stuber. I would go 8.7.
See, and I was going to do
easy on
near mint minus.
So over 9?
9.2.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, you're giving Stuber
I
really
love
high.
that movie.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean there's comedies I like better, but it's one of the better comedies we've seen in the last couple of years, in my opinion.
It's also one. Well, I mean, both of them could easily do a sequel, easily.
Yes,
but I think Stuber is set up more for it because of how it ended.
Right, I would agree. Again, My Spy, I thought it was well portrayed. The acting was good. The storyline was solid. It was funny. It just didn't have as much staying power and as much laughing as what Stuber did. I would watch a sequel to both of them as long as they brought back the same cast.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, moving on. Let's see if you recognize this, Dennis. Hold on. Just turn that ad down. I wasn't prepared, as you can tell. So just give me, I'd say, a few more seconds waiting for this ad. This is the tension building up, guys. That's what this is. Okay, hold on.
Oh, I already know what it is.
Let's just listen to it a little more because I love it so much. Oh, yeah. The theme from Batman.
Yep.
And no, not the campy 60s Batman. We're talking Batman from 1989 with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
And that music was by Danny Elfman.
Oh my God. That music and the original Christopher Reeve Superman soundtrack.
Yep.
Just light me up.
Yep. Same here.
So, we were talking about Batman earlier with the whole candy stuff, but Batman, that movie to me is still one of the, even with all the stuff with, I like Ben Affleck as Batman, and I did like Batman vs. Superman, I did like Justice League, but neither one of those were standalone Batman films. So since they weren't, my favorite Batman movie still is that Batman. Doesn't even, I will watch that over the Christian Bale Batmans any day of the week.
I can't believe we're actually agreeing on this.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, so this is why everybody I know is down for Christian Bale. Don't get me wrong. I love them all. And I usually say, I like Michael Keaton's better, and they all think I'm crazy. Not only was he, I don't want to call him the original, but it was the original, really, the movie.
Well, it was the original movie.
Right. I mean, they did do the Batman 66 movie with the shark, and exactly, but a lot of people do. So, I'm down with that. This one, I remember standing in line. I was still living in Fond du Lac, and we actually got interviewed by the paper standing out in line. I had my little Batman hat on and everything like that. Like, what are you out? You're out here for Batman? Yep, we're waiting in line. The newspaper just thought it was great. I actually made the newspaper because I wanted to see it so badly.
Funny thing, I was spotlighted locally as well because I was in line with some of my friends. And we were all dressed up. So one of my buddies bought the expensive Batman replica costume and wore that.
Ooh.
Another buddy of mine dressed up as the Joker. Purple jacket, white face paint, green hair, whole 9 yards. I was actually dressed up, even though they weren't in the movie. I was the Riddler.
Yep.
So I had green pants, I had a green sweatshirt with question marks on it, and I had short hair at the time. I had hair at the time. I'll have to find the picture and see about posting that on our Facebook page. But the reason I bring it up is because, when the movie came out, I was actually still in art school, the Kubert School, because I wanted to draw comic books for a living. And DC put out a movie adaptation that was written by Denny O'Neil, and drawn by Jerry Ordway. And Jerry Ordway is just a master craftsman when it comes to drawing comic books. And he's perfect for this because he has a realistic style, and he captured everybody's likenesses to a T. And not just, Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, but you could tell it was Kim Basinger. You could tell the actor that played the commissioner, whose name escapes me. But even all the B players in the movie, you could tell. Because Jerry captured their likenesses.
Yep, Billy D. Williams, because
Billy D. Williams.
He was Harvey Dent.
And he captured the suit, and that was the thing that I loved about the movie is up until Ben Affleck's Batman suit, this was my favorite Batman suit.
Yeah.
Like, even in the genre of the Batman movies, like, Batman 2 was fine because Tim Burton didn't really change the suit in Batman 2. They just kind of made it more workable for Michael Keaton to wear, as an actor in the movie. Because I know one of the big complaints in the first Batman movie was he couldn't really turn his neck. So every time he turned, it was like his whole shoulders turned instead of just his head. But then, the suit that they used after Tim Burton left in, like, Batman 3 and then Batman and Robin,
Well, once we got into the bat nips, I checked out.
I was out.
Yeah.
So the movie adaptation I fell in love with. Well, they put out a new edition of it last year because last year was the 30th anniversary of the Batman movie.
Ooh, so a new edition came out.
They put out the Batman 1989 hardcover movie adaptation. It's oversized. So the first movie adaptation was this, regular comic size, like 7x10. This is oversized, so it's roughly about 8x12, it looks like. And what they did was Jerry Ordway penciled and inked the whole book himself. And then Steve Oliff did the covers. So on the left-hand side of every page, they have a nice color scan reproduction of Jerry's black and white art. So you can see all the, you can see the DC paper that, on all the comic book paper that we use, DC and Marvel print their own paper. Most of the companies do, and it has their logo at the top, and it's all printed in really light blue, so when the page is scanned or photographed, it doesn't get picked up. So you can see that. You can see Jerry's whiteout when he was doing special effects and, like, rain. You can see some of his pencil marks still. On the right-hand side of the book is how the book was printed, the colored page. So from an art standpoint, and I love collecting art and looking at original art, especially from guys I idolize like Jerry Ordway. I mean, I just poured over this looking at Jerry's line work and then looking at the page how it printed. And also, back in 89, they didn't have the printing capabilities they have now. So, like, Jerry did stuff with black grease pencil that I never knew back in the day because the printing wasn't as good. So if you're into the movie and you really are into the art as well, and even if you're not, this is just such a sweet package they put out. Like I said, it's a hardcover that really showcases Jerry's artwork. Jerry did a painted cover for the original book when it came out, and they reprinted the painted cover. They reprinted some of the ad work that he did in the back as well for it. And he just captured the tone of the movie just exquisitely. And I also think reading it and then seeing the movie, it's probably one of the best adaptations I've seen.
Yeah.
It's really right on the money with just go see the movie, and if you want to, like, even to this day with Marvel movies, I'll come out and be like, man, I wish they would do a real adaptation of that, just so I could see a great artist draw it. And I know Marvel, they do these prelude books of, like, prelude to Avengers Infinity War.
Which all it does is reprint, basically, one of the other movies that had already come out. Which is fine.
It's an adaptation, like, so, exactly. So Prelude to Endgame was basically a retelling of Infinity War. And, they usually get top talent to draw the stuff. And it's cool, but I'd rather see almost a more faithful adaptation, which I know sounds weird because it's like, well, just go watch the movie if you want that faithful. But I don't know, something about going, okay, now I've seen the actors do it. Now I want to see them drawn in an over-the-top, more comic book style do the same stuff.
See, for me, being a Star Trek and Star Wars fan, I always did the movie adaptations and stuff. And obviously, in Star Wars, the first, that was the movie. And in Star Trek, they did the the adaptations, even on the odd number movies that weren't as hot, like Star Trek 3 when they did The Search for Spock. I always picked them up because I love the movies and I always kind of wanted them in the comics. But the artwork was always kind of hit or miss depending on what you were looking at. Well, that Batman one was just phenomenal.
DC had the license during that time, right? For all the movie adaptations?
Yeah, so that was...
For the 80s.
Yeah, so... because I was going to say, I think, like their 89 series and stuff, they had it. For Marvel, it was the motion picture. So that was that 18-issue run in Marvel, which was basically... that was their time frame was the motion picture.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, that was the era that DC had the rights for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never read any of their adaptations of that stuff because there's certain things that I wasn't a big Trek guy back then. I do remember Star Wars, and I really just learned that, Marvel Star Wars #1 came out before the movie came out. And there's things inside the comic book that actually ended up on the cutting room floor. I never knew that.
Yeah, and that same thing happened in Star Trek.
Oh, really?
That's why they've got a scene with Spock on the outside of the ship when he was in there, and there were these other things out there. Yeah, that never made it into the movie because they got the script to write the comic before it was actually finished in the theater. So, that...
So wait, what came out first then, the movie or the adaptation?
The movie actually came out first, I believe, and then the adaptation, but it was already, it was already drawn based on what they had been given.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know when they did the few Superman adaptations, when DC did, I liked some of them. I didn't like them all, but then again, that kind of goes for the movies as well.
Right.
I mean, I actually liked the movie comic book adaptation of Superman 4, Quest for Peace. Oh. Remember that? They fought on the moon and stuff?
One of my worst movies of all time.
It is, but the adaptation isn't bad because it's like, I'm trying to think the best way to explain it. Because it was drawn, it's a comic book, so it actually worked better as a comic book than what they could do at the time, special effect-wise, in my opinion, with the movie.
Yeah.
Now, if they made that movie today with what they can do with special effects, the comic would almost be a step down. But back then, fighting on the moon and stuff, I mean, that was just... it was just bad.
Well, the reason that Batman adaptation worked is, they had great characters. It was a great movie. It was a classic. It really was the first... Outside of the original Superman and Superman 2, it really was the first really solid, to me, superhero movie. And Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Now, and I know everybody's going to tell me Heath Ledger, and I get that. I do get that. But Jack Nicholson is also my favorite Joker. So, and then he captured to me what I always kind of figured was the Joker's essence. Cesar Romero did it for the campy type of Batman back in the 60s. It was great.
Even with his painted mustache.
Yes, exactly. And everybody jokes about that.
Come on, Caesar, shave the mustache. You're making a paycheck.
Nope, he wouldn't do it. But it's okay. But Jack, it was just Michael Keaton and Jack is the two of them. And, Kim Basinger. I mean, it was just a well-cast movie, which is really funny right now because Michael Keaton's making the news for that Batman again because it looks like he's going to be reprising his role as Batman.
Flashpoint.
Which it looks like they're going to start delving in the DC universe for the movies. He's going to be... it's going to be the multiverse, and he's going to be in it.
I hope it works out. I mean,
I do too, because I love to see an older version of him come in that suit, and I hope he's still got a very similar suit.
No, I have a feeling if they go that route, they'll Kingdom Come him. suit wise.
They could.
I think that I think
we're going to see him. I bet mainly as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally we may see him, but I'll be very curious to see. I'm excited because Michael Keaton will just pull it off, and he's kind of doing that with the Vulture in the Sony Spider-Man movies, because he's gonna make an appearance in Morbius, and he's gonna make several other appearances, it looks like. So I kind of love the fact that he's in both of our comic book universes right now and doing the same type of thing.
Yeah, that's
looking forward to it.
The other thing to touch on with the first Batman movie, just with the contrast between Jack Nicholson Joker and Heath Ledger, is the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy movies. To me, yes, Batman comes from a comic book, but none of those movies had a comic book vibe, if that makes sense. Whereas Tim Burton's Batman movie or movies had a comic book vibe with the colorfulness of Jack Nicholson's Joker, the way Gotham was portrayed.
Yeah,
because Gotham in Tim Burton's movies was a character upon itself. The city was a character with the designs for the city that he had done.
Yes.
Whereas Christopher Nolan's Gotham was, oh, look, it's Chicago, or oh, it's New York, or it could be any big city, plug and play. Just throw some assets around to say Gotham here and there.
I would agree with that. Matter of fact, I would almost compare Tim Burton's Batman, while not perfect, the characters, the casting was great. And I would kind of compare its feeling to like Batman the Animated Series.
Yes. Because
it felt like a comic book.
Right. And that's what I meant. Tim Burton's Batman felt like a comic book, but not in a hokey way.
Right.
Just like to me, it felt more like a comic book than actually even any of the MCU stuff. Like the MCU stuff, and I love all the MCU stuff. When a new movie comes out, I jump for joy for those. But they're not super comic booky.
Right.
They're based on comics, but they're not comic booky. Whereas Tim Burton, he did that tightrope where it was comic booky, but not goofy. Like, Batman from 1966 with Adam West was total comic booky, but total goofy.
Right.
You just couldn't take it seriously.
It wasn't as campy as the 60s, but like when Jack Nicholson pulls out that big version of the guy.
Right.
You're
funny. Like, he pulls it out and it's funny, but not funny ha-ha. You're just like, oh, that's the Joker. That's a gun the Joker would have.
It's so ridiculously long and unwieldy that it would make sense that he could shoot the bat plane out of the sky with it. And it just worked because it was campy enough to make it feel like a comic.
Right.
Right. So again, I can't believe you and I are actually going to agree on this, because I always take flack because I'm not. I like them all, but that's my favorite. It's still the classic.
That's true. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We have come to an end, but don't worry, we'll be back in a week. And until then, bye-bye.
See you next time.
Until next week, grab your 3D glasses.
Get your favorite comic books, roll them up, and put them in your back pocket the way you should treat comics.
Throw your pigskin up on the mantle. This is Dennis.
This is Andy. Later, friends.